So our topic today is OEM specific ADAS training, continuing on our topic of the year is OEM specific ADAS training. And today it is on Ford. So we're going to see what unique little things happen when it comes to ADAS with Ford. And much like any other manufacturer that's out there, and we'll see a fairly common thread here, they use all of the major sensors in their systems. So radar, they use that for adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and front and rear cross traffic alert, depending on how the vehicle is equipped. They use a multitude of cameras, front view camera for the high mount camera, 360 view, and for trailer assist, actually, on like the pickup trucks that has a trailer hookup assist. And also they use ultrasonic sensors for park assist. They also have an advanced park assist that we'll talk about in a little bit here as well, but that also uses those ultrasonic sensors. Now, some unique things about Ford when it comes to ADAS is, well, here's one. Taillight has an integrated blind spot monitor. So the radar is actually in the back, part of the taillight, or bolted to the inside of the taillight. So if I replace the taillight, I may have to do some sort of a calibration with that radar unit. Or if the taillight gets smashed, I will probably have to replace and calibrate that unit as well. Not terribly much involved. It's a PMI, basically. It's a copy and paste the information out of the old one and put it into the new one, and it can kind of basically self-calibrate, I guess, for lack of a better term. But that's just was kind of unique on the pickup trucks. It's just integrated with the taillight. Also, with the 360 camera, there are these giant, I don't know if you'd want to call them like circus tent mats. They're pretty big. If you can see the, there's a standard size human for scale, but they go front and rear behind the truck, and they spread out for probably looks like at least a good 4 feet on either side. So you need a fair amount of room, and that's to calibrate the 360 camera on this. Is a couple of our ADAS reps doing a calibration on this Ford there. So might need some equipment for that. So let's go through some case studies on our representative vehicles. So if you remember last year, we went through our OEM specific training, just kind of at a high level OEM specific, and we had 3 different vehicles that we would use for every manufacturer. So we're just going to go back through those again, and we're going to pick out the ADAS specifics in this case. So on our 2018 F-150, it has 3 radars. It has 1 in the front for the adaptive cruise control. It has 2 in the rear for the blind spot monitors and the taillights, once again, like we said. And also can be used for rear cross traffic alert in the radar. Camera, we got 5 of them. We got the front view cameras, the high mount up in the windshield. And then we have the 360 view, so that's 4 cameras around the outside. And then also we'll use the rear camera for trailer assist if so equipped. And there are 6 ultrasonic sensors on this vehicle as well. So that's for the park assist. Right? It's going to beep when it gets too close to something. So our radar unit is going to be in the front and the bumper, kind of offset to one side. You can kind of see where that lies there, more on the driver's side, kind of inboard of the fog light. We also have the front camera, like I said, the high mount camera, and then that's the one of the processing modules there. So to align the radar, one of the first things they tell you need to do is you need to make sure it is vertical level using a square like this. So you just adjust the Torx nuts that are in there, or the Torx screws that are in there, E15 Torx, and then you would use it to adjust it until it is vertical and level. So that's how they want you to level it. I'm sure you could use a digital level if you wanted to, or any other sort of level, but in their case, they just have a little square with a bubble level on it. So you could do that too. Also in here, we have the cruise control module is separate, if you think about this. So it's not necessarily linked to ADAS, but it is the cruise control, and it is related to ADAS in that way. So we have it separated out as a cruise control module separated. So you have a cruise control radar alignment function. After you get it level, you need to come in here and you need to do this for the scan tool side of things. So once it gets ready, once you get to a certain point, the vehicle must now be driven on a public road to allow the calibration values to be learned. Complete this procedure, it'll be necessary to perform a drive cycle at speeds up to 50 kilometers an hour for 15 minutes. Drive the vehicle until the procedure is complete. It will take approximately 15 minutes once again. Test may be aborted at any time by pressing the cancel button or turning off the ignition. For vehicles fitted with a start-stop system, you must disable it during this procedure as well. Start the engine before proceeding. Do not, at any time during the drive cycle, place the scan tool in the deployment path of any airbag. So don't put it on the steering wheel. And then you would continue through and follow the corresponding instructions. Now, another thing that's a bit unique to Ford is they have two of these image processing modules. So image processing module A, or IPMA, is going to be for your lane assist. That's going to be your high mount camera. That camera itself, the camera module itself, is what they consider the image processing module A. And then image processing module B is going to be for your 360 camera, your surround view camera. So if we were to go in there, we can see we have 360 view camera alignment, lane departure warning system camera alignment, pro trailer backup assist camera alignment, and there's a PMI function in there as well. So it says to, and then for image processing module A, we also have this. So carry out the procedure if any of the following services has been performed. Rear view mirror has been moved or replaced, or the windshield has been removed or replaced. Even just removing the rear view mirror in this function requires this to be done. The completed service function, please make sure the following conditions are met. Battery voltage is between 12 and 15 volts. Make sure you have a good battery maintainer. If you were here last week and you saw the ADAS 2025, we talked about that because it can draw a good amount of power if we're not careful, and we don't want to kill the battery. On-demand self-test is not executed during this procedure. Programmable module installation was performed if image processing module A was replaced. Procedure will require the vehicle to be driven for approximately 10 minutes to align the camera. That is going to be a start in the bay and drive the thing down the road. When it's in alignment mode, do not turn the ignition key off. The ignition key is switched to the opposition prior to completing the drive cycle. Please exit the menu and rerun the function. Drive the vehicle on a row of visible lane markers. Drive in a steady manner. Over 40 miles an hour. Avoid lane crossing, excessive steering angle changes, or sudden changes in vehicle speed. Confirm alignment completion on a previously aligned camera. Turn the lane departure warning switch and monitor the lane lines displayed on the instrument cluster while driving. Lane lines displayed will change from gray to green when alignment is complete. Lane lines display does not appear in the instrument cluster. Use the confirmation method outlined in the next step for a new service part instead. To confirm alignment completion on a new service part camera, turn on the lane departure warning switch approximately every 1 minute while driving. When the system turns on, the lane lines appear in the instrument cluster. The alignment is complete. So you're going to be turning it on and off as you go. Once we continue, the procedure is started. The vehicle is in lane departure alignment mode. Don't turn the key off. If the key is switched to opposition, please exit the menu and rerun the function. Drive the vehicle on a row of visible lane markings, 40 miles an hour. And then check for them to turn gray to green when the alignment is complete. So that is our front camera calibration. Also, we have rear radar. Like we said, they're located in the tail lamps, and you can actually see that in this diagram. So we got the tail lights there, and then the side view mirrors are involved because it has the little blind spot detection lights, the little LEDs in there to tell you when somebody is close by. And if we were to take a look, there's the tail light assembly there, and then there's where it just kind of bolts in. There's the connector, and it would just kind of bolt into the back of the tail light. There's a little mounting boss for that right there. And it says to install, the only time you need to worry about doing any sort of scan tool work with this is only necessary when installing a new component. So using a diagnostic scan tool, complete the PMI process of the driver's side or left side or the right side following the on-screen instructions. 360 cameras. There's one in the back. There's one in the front right there. And then there's one in each mirror on each side. Kind of like underneath the mirror. So that would be an image processing module B. And we have or actually in A, we have a 360 camera calibration as well. If it was replaced, perform the PMI. Front or rear camera is replaced, perform a new module installation, perform that self-test, and battery voltage must be between 11 and 8 and 15 volts. Position the target mats, refer to the workshop manual. We're going to look at that in a little bit. But it just says, let's see. Target distance between the mats, the correct target distance for F-Series standard duty. There we go. 113 inches. All others are 94.5 inches. So that's how far apart they need to be. And then that's kind of what it looks like there. So decent amount of room required around this vehicle to do it. They're kind of lining it up there with the Easy ADAS there. It's got some targets on there for the machine actually see where those mats are, make sure they're in the right place. And then we just go in and follow the instructions on the scan tool. And then as far as park assist, we have 4 in the rear bumper, and that's it. Nothing in the front in this case. There's rear park assist on that to back up. Some models will also have 2 more for what we call active park assist. So that's going to be kind of looks like behind the wheel, bottom of the wheel well there on either side. And what that does, this active park assist, is you'll drive by, you'll engage the active park assist, and it will use the ultrasonic sensors to see if there is a spot that is large enough for you to park in. Once it does so, this is all done on the dash. So parallel park mode. Found a spot, then it'll tell you to drive forward and then do whatever you need to do. So you're going to release the steering wheel. You're going to follow the instructions on the screen. You're going to use the brake and the gas yourself, and then it will steer you in where you might need to go. That's our F-150. Let's look at the Escape. It's got 3 radars. For adaptive cruise control in the front, blind spot monitor in the back, and rear cross traffic alert in the back. 5 cameras once again. I got a front view camera and a 360 view camera. And 8 park assist sensors in this case for park assist and advanced park assist as well, what we just talked about. So there's our front radar, front and center, down the bottom of the grill. Pretty easy to get to, looks like. It's going to be a very similar procedure that we saw on the F-150 as well. Going to level it up and then use the scan tool. Also separated out as the cruise control module, and then we have the cruise control module calibration. And perform this function when the adaptive cruise control module has been replaced or service alignment procedure is required. Drive the vehicle on a straight road over 30 miles an hour. Till the instrument cluster's adaptive cruise control message is cleared. Take 5 to 15 minutes typically, and then you would hit continue and that would go in. That's going to tell you to drive it. Drive vehicle until front sensor not aligned message is no longer present, then select continue. So you're just going to, so in this mode, you would leave it on this screen. You would drive the vehicle as prescribed. And then once it says front set, so once that message disappears, you hit continue, and that gets you out of it. Rear radar, in this case, is going to be in the bumper, or rear, kind of the corners behind the bumper, of course. So we have one there and one over there. You can kind of see where they're at. And then, of course, we have the LEDs and the assorted modules that go along with it. Front camera, that's going to be your high mount camera up in the windshield. Same deal as with the F-150. It's going to be image processing module A. You have a lane departure warning system camera alignment. This one didn't have the 360s. So when the rearview mirror has been replaced, look, that looks identical to the Ford F-150. Yeah, they're all Fords, but the F-150 it looks like in that case. Park assist, you can see we have ultrasonic sensors all the way around the vehicle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the back, maybe 6, 5 or 6 in the back. Yeah, 6 in the back. And then a bunch in the front as well. So you can see we got some on the corners. We got some on the sides as well. So those are for the advanced park assists that it may have. And then we have our 18 Focus, and this is the least equipped out of all of them. Of course, it does have many ultrasonic sensors, though. So it's got 3 radars, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitor, rear cross traffic. It's got 2 cameras, front view camera, and a backup camera. No 360 camera. And it has 10 ultrasonic sensors. So it has 4 in the front, 4 in the back, and then 1 on each side for the advanced park assist. So there's our high mount camera again. Same deal. Image processing module A. Slightly different wording, though, but it's going to be the same process. Going to drive it over 40 miles an hour, avoid lane crossing, excessive steering angle changes or sudden changes in vehicle speed. And then it's going to be in alignment mode, and then you drive down the road. Rear cameras just mounted in the tailgate there. So we just got one little camera there and a processing module. Rear radar, 1 on either side. So that's going to be behind the bumper once again, kind of tucked up underneath. And then as far as park assist, you can see we got 4 in the front, 4 in the rear. And then as far as the advanced park assist, those are going to be kind of on the sides there, on the corners. So that's going to, like I said, it's going to shoot the picture of the spot, and then it will guide you into the parking spot by itself. Parallel parking's hard, I guess. Let's make it a little easier. All right, let's go live on the tool, see what we can see. with our different vehicles. Pull up the F-150 first. Okay, so as we can see, we have our processing module A and our processing module B. So we'll go into A. And you can see we got our functional test there, special functions, 360 view, lane departure warning, camera alignment, probe trailer backup assist camera alignment. So we need to make sure everything is met. May take 5 to 10 minutes or longer. No codes. Verify rear video camera lens is clean. Verify all doors, deck lid, and tailgate are closed. Verify suspension is in normal driving mode if equipped with adjustable suspension. No trailer is attached or other rear camera obstruction. Lighting is critical. Do not attempt this procedure in low light conditions. Ideal luminosity of over 500 lux or daylight. Perform procedure when visibility is clear with high contrast scenes that are not disturbed by strong rainfall or snow. Recommend driving on a normal asphalt or concrete road surface. Avoid road surfaces that have a smooth and uniform appearances like snow blanketed roadway. Make sure the ignition switch is on and engine is running. Place vehicle in drive and remain stopped. Activate the rear video camera view on the touchscreen display. I don't know how far I'm going to be able to go. Okay, then it'll put it in calibration mode. Status screen should be viewable on the vehicle touchscreen display. Calibration state will automatically exit after approximately 10 minutes if calibration is not completed within the expected time. Drive the vehicle on a surface lot with clearly marked lines or vehicles present. Avoid fresh blacktop without markings and snow-covered surfaces. Drive the vehicle through the area safely at speeds less than 5 miles an hour. Drive with the steering wheel straight. Calibration will only occur when the vehicle is moving forward. Turning vehicles will temporarily pause the calibration process. Ensure you have at least 2 to 3 feet of open space adjacent to the vehicle while driving. Driving through a narrow lane, center the vehicle within the lane if possible. Refer to calibration status screen for driving performance feedback. Process should be completed in as little as 5 minutes, but with timeout after 10. Timeout occurs, the user will need to restart, repeat the routine. Okay, and then you would just drive the vehicle. In this case, we don't have any way to, it's going to give me an error because I am not hooked up to the vehicle. Also, if you have one of our tools that have the service resets and relearns menu, this can kind of make it a little bit easier to find what you need as well, because we have it listed out by job. So under driver aids and ADAS, and then what do I want to do? Let's say, for example, I wanted to do calibrate front radar. Go in there. For functional resets, it's going to give me a cruise control radar alignment. We talked about that already. 5 to 15 minutes. We're not going to go into that though, because the simulator doesn't work that great with this. Repair information though, if you have snap-on repair information, it will bring you right over there. Do a nice little search for what we have. So wave radar unit there. Go in there. Remove and replace. There's the radar unit right there. I'm going to show you what it looks like. A couple clips to pop off the panel. And behind it, there's the actual unit. Going to have 3 screws or 3 nuts. And you're going to be able to adjust it. Combination square level on the face of the cruise control module. Check the alignment. And then once it's done, the horizontal alignment for the cruise control module is a software calibration that checks that the radar is pointed straight. No manual adjustment is needed for this procedure. The scan tool calibrates it through the CCM procedure and programmable parameters. So follow the diagnostic scan tool on-screen instructions to carry out the CCM calibration. If I pop back over here, there's a cruise control radar alignment. Continue. Make sure keys on, engine running. It's behind security. Vehicle must now be driven on a public road to allow the calibration values to be learned. To complete the procedure, it will be necessary to perform a drive cycle that speeds up to 50 kilometers an hour for 15 minutes. Drive the vehicle until complete. Do not place a scan tool in the deployment path of an airbag. We saw that earlier. And it's going to give me a little 10-second countdown here. And procedure complete. So you would just drive the vehicle, and then when you're done, gives you a little reset. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at the image processing module A again. And go in here for the backup camera, so the Pro Trailer Backup Assist camera. Need to do a PMI. Address any DTCs if necessary. Actually, we just walked through that, didn't we? Yes, we did. 360 view camera alignment as well. With the trailer mats, says we need trailer mats, so that's nice. It tells us. Going to give you all of those environmental procedures. Place vehicle in drive, remain stopped. Activate the 360 camera view on the touchscreen display. And it'll be in a calibration state. It should be viewable on the vehicle touchscreen display. So we start it with the scan tool, and then we're able to finish it using the touchscreen. You're going to drive very slowly after the mat is done. And then, of course, I get an error for that. Now, if we go into Shopkey by itself, we're still in there from last time. And we're going to look at, if you have Shopkey or Mitchell, there is a table here for driver assistant ADAS. So what that does is it gives us a list of components in the ADAS. What job possibly requires calibrating if I need special tools like a target, and then scan if the scan tool is needed. So let's say that outside view camera again. And we come in here and do remove and replace. Camera alignment. There's some tubes with my mats. Take some measurements, put your distances, put your mats down. There's your mat. Said pretty big. And then if there's any errors, it's going to give you a bunch of lists of error codes if it does have an error. So it'll just say, whatever needs to be fixed. Target not found left, target not found right, etc. Precondition not correct, velocity. So any of these failure codes, you're going to want to look that up and see what the actual issue is. Because it could just be you don't have it quite straight, or the lighting on the mat isn't uniform and of good quality. That could be a possibility as well. So it will tell you what you need to do to figure it out. All right, and then we have the, I wanted to make sure I showed you this as well. So like I said, ADAS stuff is up here, but the cruise control is actually down here, engine-related systems. So cruise control module. And you can go in there and do the radar alignment as well. There's also a PMI for that. But we don't need to do that right now. All right, next we got our escape. So that's going to be very much similar since they use pretty much the same stuff across the board. It only has one image processing module, though. It doesn't have B. It just has A in this case. And if we go into special functions, we only have the lane departure warning system camera alignment, which we saw earlier. Rearview mirror has been removed. Windshield has been removed. Battery voltage, on-demand self-test. PMI was done if we replaced it. Go over 40 miles an hour. Avoid changing lanes. It's going to give me a countdown. And there we go. Procedure started. Vehicles in lane departure alignment mode, and then you would just drive the vehicle. Okay, and then just follow the instructions. This also has the separated out cruise control module. So just so you're aware of that. So let's go into Shopkey. Look up the cruise control module on this. Place forward-looking radar sensor. And go to remove and replace. And that's a little bit different. This one doesn't really say anything about leveling it off. We got some screws and pins and bolts. And then do the cruise control radar alignment. Might have to do PMI as well. But in this case, it doesn't say anything about having to level it off or anything like that. It's got a bracket. Screws and pins in the bracket, and that should hold it steady, I guess. They're assuming an awful lot, I think. Oh, there we go. I knew it was in here somewhere. There's your level. There's your screwdriver or nut driver, and you would go in and adjust it until the bubble level is level. Okay, and then lastly, we'll go into the focus, which, as we said, had less stuff than all the others. Depends on the year and how the model's equipped. So this one's got still image processing module A, but no B. Parking aid module is there, but we don't have the engine related systems. We don't have the cruise control module because this one did not have radar cruise control. So let's just go into parking aid real quick, see if there's anything. Yeah, just new module initialization if you have a new module. Maybe what that was for. And then if we go into shop key, and we'll go in here and we'll look at the blind spot in this case, blind spot sensor. And you can see those are tucked way up underneath. So that's a little bit different. So it's actually mounted to the bumper in that case. Also to note, in the cases where they are behind the bumper, kind of like that, aftermarket bumpers can be tricky. The amount of paint on the bumper can be tricky. So make sure you're following the manufacturer's recommended procedures and use the manufacturer qualified parts, because I've seen a few times, even like a front grille. Somebody put an aftermarket front grille on their pickup truck one time, and hey, the radar cruise control doesn't work anymore because the radar was right behind where the emblem was, and was too thick. Didn't have the right material on that grille in order for the radar to pass through. So just be aware if you are in that space and you're replacing some stuff like bumpers and grills and things, that you're aware of, what's going on with that. So with that, that is Ford. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about next week. So next week is going to be VVT system diagnosis. This was pretty popular the first time we went through it, so we're just going to go through it again. Same time and place as always, every Tuesday at 6 and 9 Eastern. If you want to watch on Zoom, go to snapon.com/OT to sign up there. Otherwise, the 6 p.m. Eastern class goes live to our YouTube channel, which I'm doing right now. And then if you want to sign up and subscribe for our YouTube channel, scan that QR code right there, and that will bring you right to the channel and subscribe you automatically. Otherwise, the 9 p.m. Eastern class goes live to my Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/SnapOnJason, all one word, no dash in the Snap-on. You want to see any of the other topics in this series, anywhere from intro to ADAS, all the way through electronic power steering testing and repair and beyond, everything in here is 100% free, readily available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our YouTube channel. And we do have a playlist for live training, so well available. Also, do we have your email address? If we don't, you are missing out on some good information like tech focus articles, SureTrack blogs, quick tips, new product releases. They send out my training schedule periodically as well. So a lot of really good diagnostics related content. So if you want to sign up to receive those, scan that QR code and that will bring you to a form that you can fill out, and then we will have your email address and you'll start receiving these. So there's one example right there for timing chains and diagnosing stretch timing chains. So, pretty cool. All right, time for questions. But before I do, I want to make sure I mention my buddy Keith, who also does free diagnostics training. He does scan tool specific training. So on Wednesdays is on Zeus Plus. Thursday is on Apollo and training tools. And he takes you through everything from soup to nuts. First hour is on setup and scan tool functions. Second half is on the scope functions in the tool. So guided component test, scope and meter and all that. Definitely worth your time if you want to learn a little bit more about your tool. 7:30 Eastern on Wednesday and Thursday. Snapon.com/OT if you want to sign up for that. It is Zoom only. All right, let's get to questions. If you do have any questions on Zoom, just make sure you use the little Q&A button that's on the top or the bottom of your screen, wherever your Zoom controls are. If you want to use YouTube, if you're on YouTube, you can just use the live chat. And we got one question on Zoom. Oh, Jay McCall is saying no questions, just saying hi and thanks for the class. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for attending. And then on YouTube, we got the Winton checking in saying hi. Nick coming over from the UK. Hello, Mr. Nick. Thanks as always. Alex Tolstoy looks like it says, hello, everyone. And he asks, is Mitchell included in the Verus, or do I have to pay for a separate subscription? So it is a separate subscription for the Verus or the Zeus, any of our Windows-based tools. But it does have the direct link button where you can go in. So with a Shopkey or Mitchell subscription, it does include 5 simultaneous logins. So the scan tool would be one of those 5 simultaneous logins that you would be able to use. So hope that answers your question. And Nick says he can't wait for next week's training. And the Winton says good class. So thank you very much, everyone, for that. With that, I would like to say thank you. Thank you very much for spending a little bit of time with me. Hopefully we learned a couple of the little idiosyncrasies and ins and outs on the Ford vehicles when it comes to ADAS. Hopefully you'll join me next week for VVT systems. With that, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Have a nice night and take care.